Hey, Jon here. It's Wednesday, and in today's lesson we're gonna go through a tapping routine, and before that we're gonna go through a tapping lick using the G Dorian scale. Also, don't forget to sign up for my newsletter and you'll get access to 17 free lessons straight away, and then you get a series of exclusive lessons, both in text and also video, that you won't find anywhere else. Alright, here's the slow version of this G Dorian tapping lick. We start on the 10th fret of the high E string. As usual, if you want tabs, you can go to my Patreon and the link below, and besides getting the tabs for all this stuff, you also get access to the complete lesson library containing hundreds of different lessons. So if you want that stuff, you can go check it out right now, but if not, just follow along here and I think you'll get it anyway. So it's in G Dorian, and Dorian is just like a natural minor scale, but with a natural sixth instead of a flat six. So 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6. Flat 7, 1. And pattern goes like this. So once you've done that, you start with a hammer on from nowhere. Basically gonna go down this 3-note per string shape, and the first note of each string will be tapped. So, and I have my pick tucked in here, and I don't use any kind of fret wrap. If you want to use that, do that, even though I think it's kind of lame. So let's go ahead here. So we go. So that's the first part. Right, got it? Let's go on to the next part. Now we're basically going to outline a G minor 7 arpeggio. So we're going to go like this. Now the tricky part here is that you need to start the G string with only the index finger tap. A suggestion here is that don't tap too hard in general when you do this, or neither with the left hand or the right hand, because the harder you tap, you're gonna try to compensate that with the other hand. So you're just gonna sort of trigger this hand to get louder, and then this hand needs to get louder, and after a while it will just sound like a sloppy mess. So really try to keep it really relaxed and let the actual velocity of you moving from note to note quickly get the sound instead of smacking the shit out of the fretboard. Okay, so this arpeggio then will go like this. Once again. And another quick tip here, when you go down, make sure that you synchronize the first tap note, well, the tap note with the left hand's first finger after the tap note. So if you look at me playing this going down, these go down at the same time, because if you do that, you're sure you're gonna get a note after you remove the tapping finger. So that will really help you with the smoothness with descending tapping scales. Once again, slowly from the beginning. Right, so it's time for our first tapping routine. You can do this with any finger you want. I'm gonna do it with this finger now. You can use with index finger, or whatever thing you want to do, because we're going to use one finger for tapping. Just keep in mind to keep the tap at the same dynamics. So don't over tap. I did that for years and was like really trying to catch up with my left hand. It's not a good way to do it. So try to keep the dynamics even and quite low. Just get a smooth sound. And another thing here is that we're going to go through all combinations with 2 fingers and all combinations with 3 fingers and then 4 fingers. But we're not going to do the combinations within the fingers, meaning if you do 1, 2, 3, we're not going to go 1, 3, 2 as well. But we're going to use all possible fingers without repeating them. So that's going to mean 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, 3, 4. And then for 3 fingers, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and then finally 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a really good introduction if you're not used to tapping in this way, because we're going to be changing strings a lot, and you have to be comfortable with hammer-ons from nowhere. So starting a new string with the left-hand finger for the ascending parts here. I'm going to basically keep it in this same position once I've started. You obviously want to do this all over the neck, but for now we're just going to do it from the 7th position here. And you're going to notice for some of these shapes, I'm going to move up a half step to compensate for the B string. And that's just to avoid getting repeated notes for this exercise. If you don't care about repeated notes, you can just keep it in the same position, but I think it's a good practice to sort of avoid that when you do this stuff. But I'm going to leave that up to you. The most important thing is that you go through all possible fingerings. So with that said, I'm just going to play through the first part of the exercise, which is 2 fingers at a time. So we're going to start with 1, 2, and then we're going to tap on the 10th fret. And again, if you want to tap somewhere else, do that, but I try to keep it as close to a scale as possible while still adhering to these fingerings. So in this case, I can just go straight up in both. I don't need to compensate for the B string. So I'm going to go like this. Then once I get down here, I restart again with 1, 3, keep tapping the same fret. If you want to use a metronome for this, you can keep the tempo even. That will help you with, well, evenness, but also help you keep the dynamics low as well, because you can relax into that tempo. But I'm not doing that now, obviously, but I want to be able to speed up here so you don't get super bored watching me play it at a very slow tempo. But when you play this, make sure to keep the tempo low so you get everything perfect. So that's 1, 3. Now the next one is 1, 4. Now I'm going to compensate once I get up to the B string. So I'm going to go. Because I want to avoid getting this. So. And just like I mentioned in the lick, make sure to synchronize the first finger after the tap finger. Those fingers should go down at all times at the same time. So you always get the... You don't need to get all fingers down, but at least the very next finger, because that gives you time to get the other fingers down as well. Anyway, the next combination will be 2, 3. And now I keep the tapped finger on 11 here. So... Because now I'm going to get sort of the same scale sound as I got here, but with 2, 3. So. No need to compensate for everything here. Same thing when I do 2, 4. And 3, 4, I move up 1 fret with my tapping finger again. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to move on to 3 fingers at a time. I'm going to start with this sort of semi-chromatic thing, I can say in the same position. Now I do 1, 2, 4, and then I'm going to actually go up 1 fret. We get that. Compensate. Same with 1, 3, 4. Keep the same fret for 2, 3, 4. And finally, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're gonna get a full chromatic scale here, because just by staying in the same position, but we need to compensate for the B string. So it's gonna go like this. That's basically the whole routine. And like I said before, I don't use fret wrap here. Not really because I think it's lame, but I kind of do, because it's not needed to play the instrument. And if you don't believe me, just Google TJ Helmerich on YouTube and you'll see someone using 8-finger tapping, improvising, and no fret wrap. And I actually studied for him at GIT, and he basically said, you don't need it. It's part of playing the instrument. You don't have some sort of contraption here to mute the strings, right? But with that said, there's a lot of great players that use it. So if you want to use it, do that if you want, but also know that you don't really need it. And again, for me, it would be kind of the equivalent of going to watch a really great piano player play a, Chopin recital, and then he has some contraption on the piano because it's easier for him to get the sound that he wants. That would feel kind of weird to me. But like I said, it's totally up to you. If you want to use it, do that. But no, it's not really needed. The only guy I think that actually needs it is maybe Matteo Mancuso, because playing the finger style like this on the guitar, it's virtually impossible to mute the strings. But if you're just doing tapping stuff, I don't really think you need it. So with that said, I'm probably gonna piss people off here. But with that said, I don't think you need it. But if you want to use it, do that. But whatever you do, try to keep the dynamics really even here with the tapping stuff. So, like I said, for years I overdid it, so I kind of did this. Because I thought like the more I smack the string, the better it's gonna sound. But it's quite the opposite. So try to keep the dynamics down. So hopefully everything was crystal clear. If you have any questions or comments, just post them below. And also, as always, please leave a comment if you have an idea for a future video topic, because I want to help people as much as possible, and I really try to make videos that would have helped me back in the day, because I believe if I had this information way earlier, I would have been way better. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.